Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Kygo, and up here today, guys, with the another weekly, well, say weekly, but a vlog update, whatever you want to call it. So thought I'd talk about some things. First of all, on the personal front, I just want to start by saying that it's getting closer now. Obviously, baby number 2 being here. Um, it a lot of people been saying to me, how are you going to handle it? What's it going to mean to you? Obviously, ideally, in an ideal world, we wouldn't still be in this place where we are now. We'd be trying to find someone new, but it's not as simple as that, as you know. The thing is, I'm not so worried so much as the baby being here. It's more so, just how things are going to work out. Um, it's hard because obviously my dad and my brothers all live, quite far away. So I only really get to see them, every couple of months and that. And like my dad said, it's not going to be that easy to be able to just go down, with the baby as well, and obviously my son. But I want to say this with the most respect to my family, but if my mum was still around, I reckon she'd be pushing to try and come down more and stuff like that. I take what I can, but it is going to mean, less time to do things, and obviously, it's not too bad because obviously now my son's in full-time school, and obviously my partner's going to be on maternity for a while, but even when she goes back to work, she worked from like 3 till like half 3 till 8, half 8, so it's not going to be a huge problem. I don't think, it's kind of a, I'm not too worried about certain things, but it's just going to be sort of how things are going to play out, how we're going to go around about seeing family, and how my son's going to be with the baby around, um, and stuff like that. There's a few things that obviously are, going through my mind and stuff like that, but it's kind of one of them things. You've got to take it with a grain of salt and just sort of, go with it basically. But that being said, and again, on in regard to YouTube and videos, videos probably won't be as frequent. And I say that, I'll be honest with you, I've had mostly positive support on this channel. I've often get a lot of people, leaving good comments, and letting me know that it doesn't matter, do YouTube when you can. It's more important. YouTube's not a job or anything for me. I don't earn any money from YouTube, um, and stuff like that. If I ever did get to the point where I was earning money from YouTube, then yeah, maybe I'd dedicate a bit more time and effort to it. But I never started doing this for the intention of trying to, be the next PewDiePie or whatever. It's just more, just doing what I do. My channel is changed throughout the years. We've gone from doing pickups and gaming orientated stuff to now movies and TV and stuff like that. So I've transitioned, mostly because of things being changed and financial situations and just so much going on. I've had to make changes and sacrifices, um, and stuff like that. But that being said, we'll deal with that when it comes to it, and things like that. So, but what have I been playing recently? Well, mostly Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I want to say that actually a lot of people hated on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I can understand some of the criticism that people gave it. But as a standalone single player game, it's pretty decent. And for a Dragon Ball Z game, I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably the best telling of the Dragon Ball Z story, that we've seen in a long time. Yes, there's been better games that have, more characters and more fights, and, sort of get other characters from, from like the movies and specials in there. But what I like about this one, it follows the story quite well, especially Goku's story. I've just finished the Cell Saga, so I'm on the Majin Buu Saga, which I know is the last saga. I believe there's 3 DLCs as of today, as of the moment. There's the Trunks Android Alternative Future one, and then there's 2 Dragon Ball Super ones. Oh wait, um, You know, so I've not watched Dragon Ball Super. A lot of people say to me, how well do you know Dragon Ball Z? I've not watched it all the way through. I've never watched Dragon Ball, but I know the story quite well from playing the video games. I've always been a big fan of Dragon Ball Z games. Um, I still stand by my comment that Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is the best Dragon Ball Z game of all time. Mostly because of the amount of characters that are in the game, and just it just feels the combat was amazing. Kakarot, I like the combat in Kakarot. It's a lot of people say it's very similar to Xenoverse. I've only played a tiny bit of Xenoverse 2, but I understand where people are coming from. I haven't decided what my next playthrough is going to be. I've played a few games here and there. Will I go back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Probably not. Um, I mean, I might go back to it every now and then, but I just sort of got burned out with um, that game. And to be honest, I just felt like Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a big departure from Odyssey, which I spent so much time in. Valhalla to me just, I don't know. There's something about the game that I'm just not enjoying as much as I did Odyssey. Maybe I'll come back to it one day. I'm sort of on the Dragon Ball Z thing at the moment, so maybe I might play one of the other Dragon Ball Z games. Maybe I'll do Xenoverse 2 next, or possibly, check out some of the ones that I've got in my modded PS3. I think I've got Raging Blast 1 and 2. I've heard Raging Blast 2 is actually a pretty good game. It actually has it's the closest thing to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 from since Budokai Tenkaichi 3, a lot of people said. I would love to see Budokai Tenkaichi come back. I think, Sony could potentially get this game on PlayStation Plus, um, on through the premium tier. I think it could be done. I don't know the licensing issues, but they've got other Dragon Ball games on there, so I'd love to see that. I'd take it. I have thought about possibly buying getting a PS2 back and buying Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, but I was looking it up, and it's going to set me back around about £150 just to get that game and a PS2 now. The prices have gone up, unfortunately. Not everything. I don't think I'd ever go back to collecting physical games as much as I did before. It's sort of going to be now like if I buy a physical game, it's going to be a game that I want to check out that isn't available um, to me through the Game Pass or the PlayStation Plus, or it's cheaper for me to buy it than it is digital. Or if I just come across a game cheap, 9 times out of 10, if I pick up a game now, it's either a game that I know I'm going to play or I want to play straight away, or something if I see it cheap for resale or trade or something like that. But I'm enjoying Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I think it's a great retelling of the story. I actually really enjoyed the combat. It's lacking in certain areas. It doesn't have it only has 7 playable characters. Unfortunately, I think a couple maybe transformations and that. But for a single player game, I think it's pretty fun. If people were to ask me what's a good Dragon Ball Z game, um, I've never watched or played Dragon Ball Z. Which one would you recommend? I'd say Kakarot is a good one to start with. Easy to pick up and play. A little bit confusing at first, but once you get the controls down, you know what you're gonna do with it. So yeah, so that's the gaming side of things. As for watching stuff, I've nearly finished SpongeBob. I think I'm like on halfway through season 12 now. Season 13 is slowly getting added. They're adding new episodes, I think, daily to season 13 to Paramount Plus. So I'm debating on whether to maybe just finish up with SpongeBob and just sort of have it as a thing that I watch every now and then, and start my next show, which is going to be My Wife and Kids. I remember seeing a couple of episodes of that when I was younger, and I was for so long I was like, why is this not on a streaming service? And it finally got added. It got added to Amazon Prime a couple, I think earlier this year, and then Disney took it off their hands, so it's only on Disney Plus now. I don't think the show was ever adult or mature or anything like that. I think it was sort of I always enjoy sitcoms. I really enjoy African American sitcoms, especially black comedians. I absolutely love those shows. You know, obviously there's some classics like The Jeffersons, of course, it's an all-time classic. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, another great one out there. I know so there was another one I watched called Moesha, which was and Sister Sister. They were obviously younger orientated sitcoms, but still pretty good. There's obviously some other ones out there, Girlfriends. There's that Blackish show on Disney as well. So there's some good ones out there. Um, yeah, so as for the movie front, I watched about five or so movies these past few days. I watched what was it? There was a crappy Troma movie called Climate Tarzan, also known as Pleasure Girl Gang. Absolutely terrible movie. I talked about it a little bit yesterday in my Troma Now video. Just I wouldn't even call it a movie. It was just absolutely terrible. But it is one of them you get what you get kind of things. I also watched Emperor's New Groove, which I think is a highly underrated Disney classic. Not many people talk about the Emperor's New Groove, and I don't know why. I always felt like that was one from my childhood, but I recently watched it and I was like, you know what? It's still good. It still holds up. I absolutely love that film. Same with Hunchback of Notre Dame. Not many people talk about that movie from Disney classics. I love that one as well. Same with Aristocats as well. They're like my three like top three underrated Disney classics. I would put Mulan on there, but I think Mulan's more well known, you know, because obviously it's had the remake and that. But I also watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was a good movie. Of course, it's a classic. Lots of references in TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And I thought it was a good film, but honestly, I thought Ferris was a bit of a dickhead in that film. There's this kid that's trying to stay off school, you know, to do what he wants. It's like the family go, oh, it's Ferris Bueller's Day On, which is true, but I don't know. It's like we're expected to believe that everyone knows this Ferris kid, everyone loves him, but they don't really explain why. I'd like to see maybe another movie in the Ferris Bueller universe. I'd like to see another movie in the Ferris Bueller universe, like maybe like of him, people sort of explaining why he's so popular. But it is a fun ride. It's one of them movies, a sort of coming of age movie. Lots of memorable moments, of course. But I thought he was a bit of we just expect you to believe everyone loves this kid and, you know, he's going away, you know, to get off school, you know, I know it's a movie, get over it, you know, but again, the message is kind of, I can understand why some people might watch that film now and go, oh, you know, these snowflakes, like, oh, that's wrong, you know, it's basically glorifying staying off school, but it's a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Would I rewatch it? Probably would, now that I think about it. I think it's one of those movies that the more you watch it, the better it is. And that's the case with a lot of movies. You know, sometimes when I first watch a movie, I'm like, okay, I enjoyed it, but maybe I wanted a bit more from it. But then a couple of days pass and I think about it and I go, do you know what? Actually, I could see myself rewatching that one. I also watched Return to Oz, which I absolutely love. Return to Oz. I remember seeing clips of it as a kid and remembering little bits of it, but I recently rewatched it. I say rewatched it because I remember seeing it as a kid, and that movie just creeps me the hell out as a kid. And today, yeah, it's not as creepy, but there are some creepy moments, of course. But I'd love to see a Wizard of Oz movie that takes place between Wizard of Oz and Return to Oz, because obviously Return to Oz takes place, I think, 6 months or something after in the Oz universe, after Return as Wizard of Oz. And some people have said, oh, Return to Oz is a better movie. I think it's hard to compare the two. Wizard of Oz is an all-time musical classic, very colourful movie, and, you know, very bright, and you know, lots of memorable moments and happy stuff, whereas Return to Oz is a much bleaker movie. You know, everything's been taken over by the Gnome King, but it does link in very well to Wizard of Oz. You know, when she drops the ruby slippers, the Gnome King basically takes them and uses that to take over Oz and destroy Oz, and you know, I thought it was a great movie, and one that I'd love to see another movie. I know there's that other one they did, that Oz Great and Powerful movie, which I think was the Tim Burton one. I don't know where that takes place in the Wizard of Oz universe, or if it's just a retelling of Wizard of Oz. And I believe there was a Wizard of Oz TV show as well, set in the Wizard of Oz universe. But I'd love to see a movie that takes place between Wizard of Oz and Return to Oz, and sort of maybe like a dark movie, you know, showing off, like, you know, like Disney have done all these villain movies. I'd like to see a villain movie based on the Gnome King and Mumby. I think that'd be amazing. But I love Wizard of Oz. I'd love to see more of Wizard of Oz. Like maybe explaining more about the world and stuff like that, because it's one of those worlds. It's, you know, like Dark Crystal and Neverending Story and like Narnia. It's one of these fantasy worlds that you just want to explore more of. And I think movies and TV shows would be a great way to do it. Let me know your favorite version of Wizard of Oz, or your favorite film or TV show, or whatever your favorite part of Oz universe is. And then last night I watched the movie A Haunted House with Marlon Wayans. Cheesy, stupid movie. Of course, it's a Paranormal Activity spoof. It's a cheesy movie. I've seen it before, and I think it's still hilarious. But you know, the bit that gets me is when I mean, when I first watched it, I absolutely was in tears laughing at it. But when I watched it last night, I was like, okay, it's just stupid fun now. But the part that gets me is the bit where she's crying in the corner, and then the priest, played by Cedric the Entertainer, he's like, no, don't go over there. You know, she's crying over there. She's like the witch in Left 4 Dead. I was like, oh, that gets me every time. I was like, what a great little reference. It's a stupid movie. Marlon Wayans, of course, plays a similar role in a lot of his movies, that cheesy, you know, raunchy comedies, you know. I love the Wayans brothers. My favourite Wayans brothers movies are Little Man and White Chicks. Let me know your favourite Wayans brothers movies. I still think White Chicks deserves a sequel. There was talk about it, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't think it would happen. I just don't think of it happen. Speaking of remakes, they're meant to be remaking or rebooting Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. Leslie Neeson, Liam Neeson, bit of a coincidence. I don't know how that's going to work. Of course, Naked Gun was, like, you know, part of, like, the Police Squad and Airplane, you know, that sort of cheesy, raunchy comedy. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe they're going to go for a darker, more dramatic film, like a reboot. I don't know. Kind of like the Fresh Prince reboot, which I am interested in. Which I don't know when that's coming out, or if it's already out. I don't know. Um, that that really surprised me when I was like, oh, they're doing a reboot of it as a drama. I'm not a huge fan of when shows get rebooted as a drama. Like if there's a comedic show, and it gets rebooted as a drama. I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer to just watch something as it was intended, than tweaking it and changing it. You know, stop messing with my favorite shows. You know. But that being said, I did actually write a couple of lists of stuff that I'm going to upgrade to Blu-ray, and I was only surprised that there's only about 40 or so things maybe that I actually seen in my collection that I'm definitely going to upgrade to Blu-ray. Like I said, so but I'm going to hopefully go down and see my family soon. Maybe not this Friday, coming a week Friday. Providing everything's all right. I was meant to do it this month, but unfortunately I was ill. And my friend said that his family were testing positive for COVID and stuff, and he wasn't sure what's going on, so I didn't want to chance anything. So I'm going to give it a break. I try this month, beginning of November. We reckon that the baby's going to be early, so things are definitely going to be on. That's why I'm trying to go down at the beginning of November, because it's going to be my last opportunity. I'm going to speak to my dad and my brothers and say, look, how we're going to do things going forward. You know, I said that it might be a case of one of us, like either myself or my partner, goes down with Logan, my son, to to my dad for a weekend and stuff in the school holidays. We're going to work something out. I do want to get stuff written in stone and plans in place. Things can change at any time. But, you know, it would be nice. I like to have things sort of planned out and stuff. So, yeah. When I do go down to my dad's, I probably will go into town and stuff and have a little look round. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to pick things up just for the sake of picking things up. I've got a bit of focus now of what stuff I'm looking for. So I'm going to try and do that now, is focus on what I've made my list of, and stuff like that, and try and focus on building my collection based on things that I know that I'm interested in. I am eventually gonna try and rework the collection, DVD, Blu-ray collection, to upgrading stuff over time. But it's going to be a slow process, of course, with the baby on the way. I haven't got the money or time to do that now. But that being said, guys, I think I'm going to leave this little vlog here. I'm going to go and watch the Shudder original show today called 101 Scariest Moments in Movies. Looks really interesting. I've always been a fan of, you know, these top lists and things. And then I'm going to play some more Dragon Ball Kakarot tonight. And I'm going to watch the first disc of season 3, so part 1 of season 3 of Robot Chicken. Like I said, I actually found that Robot Chicken is actually available on all of the seasons. So I think when I finish watching the DVD ones, I'm probably gonna you know, maybe check it out eventually. So I do need to get some of these shows and move DVDs watched. But I'm you know, that is what it is. So anyway, I'm thinking I might go for a little walk actually first before I come back and have some lunch and stuff. Just stretch the old legs, so to say. But of course, oh yeah, that's another thing. Some people say to me, do you watch special features? Is that why you own Blu-rays? Honestly, no. I mean, I enjoy checking out some special features if it's a show or movie I enjoy. For the avid movie, you know, for you know, when they re-release something and say, oh, look at all these special features. For me, that's not a huge selling point for me. It's a bonus, of course, you know. But for me, it's like, oh, I'll check out the special features at a later date. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, if I've got a movie or something, I'm focusing on watching the actual movie or show first. And then when I've gone through what I've wanted to watch, it's going to take a long time. That's when I'll rework, go back and rewatch stuff. So, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's vlog video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and, of course, comment below. Let me know what you've been recently doing, what your plans are, what you've been playing, what you've been watching, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the family. And as always, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.